concert movement number 1. The basic head bob. Ready, go.
All right. 131 Bradshaw with you here Monday afternoon in the capital city. Couple breaking news stories. We'll get to that. First, email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com if there's something you want to talk about. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Or just go to thebradshawshow.com. You can find a link to, for example, if you just want to listen to the show on Mixlr, you can do that. Just go to thebradshawshow.com. It's got all the other info there. Yes, I understand is a work in progress, but www.thebradshawshow.com for all of your fun needs. By the way, this literally just coming down. Bon Jovi is coming to town. I know. So for those of you who keep your acid wash in perfect condition, have your kind of... it wouldn't even be double denim. It would be like triple denim. You'd have like the jeans, the denim shirt, and the jean jacket. Or I guess depending on the weather, jorts would be acceptable as well. If you want to give love a bad name. If you're looking for bad medicine. He's coming to stump for Obama at the Western Gateway Park Friday. Allegedly 5 o'clock. So there will be more news, I'm sure, but he was great on the West Wing, wasn't he? The Bon Jovi kids are coming to town. Oh, man. What else? We have the latest Iowa poll that we'll dig in. And I understand the Register's looking for all the web hits and newspaper sales thing at their hand. They just kind of slowly dole out the information. It's annoying as hell. Luckily, long gone are the days when we have a dearth of Iowa numbers, but it is interesting to see what the Register comes up with. Long story short, surprise, Obama with the lead. But there are a few in those numbers. We'll talk about that and getting ready for the debate on Wednesday. I kid you not, and I'm sure this was a intentional leak that Team Romney has equipped Mitt with a number of zingers ready for the debate on Wednesday. And if there's anyone with a natural sense of comedic timing and ease with an audience, it's Mitt Romney. But I'll explain what that really means. First, on Friday. Late Friday, our Congressman Leonard Boswell decided to drop a lawsuit on our own Ed Fallon. I know Ed probably is limited. That whole I'm being sued sort of thing kind of limits what he can say about this. But again, having no... fair enough. Friend of Ed's, contributed to his own, contributed to his campaign to primary Leonard Boswell. I'm there. I'm on board. I'm in. So I'm not unbiased in this by any means. The gist of the story is this: much like myself, Ed is not the biggest fan of Congressman Boswell, and I've been saying this for years. He's a really brave guy. His military service. He will kick your ass if you try to invade his home. He's not a wimp. He's not a coward. He's not yellow. Something about walking into the House of Representatives, though, and just beyond shrinkage, just right up into the abdomen. And I can't account for it. It makes no sense. Now I understand when Nancy Pelosi holds the speaker's gavel, he's a stalwart Democratic vote. When someone else does, Boehner, for example, all of a sudden it's, what can we do? He cowers in front of the NRA. It's the only way to describe his Eric Holder vote. the NRA announced, and this is part of the kind of right-wing fever dream that, Leonard Boswell, you will support the NRA because we are going to grade your vote on holding Eric Holder in contempt of Congress as part of the Fast and Furious distraction. And Boswell voted to hold our Attorney General in contempt because he was so afraid of losing that NRA endorsement. Like, forget principles and forget reality. I have to kowtow. Again, he folds like a cheap suit. Now it has been said that he is desperate to hold on to that seat, will never retire, wants to die in office. The last thing he wants to do is kind of, tip his cap as an elder statesman, retire and come home. So what we end up with is, and I could almost understand the argument now in the new Iowa 3rd District, but certainly in the previous Iowa 3. Something up? Oh. Maddie producing today. In the previous Iowa 3, there was no need for a blue dog. There was no need for a Republican-leaning Democrat. I'm not a fan. And I've gone through when he's made just completely horrible votes. I've laid it out. And even before I was, purchased by job creators and let go, I would go on these long diatribes. But I'm not a huge fan of Leonard Boswell. And my point was this. If Speaker Boehner loses the gavel, and he is certainly not the strongest House leader we've ever seen, especially with Eric Cantor, at 2 Boehner. I guess it would be at 2 Eric, but poised, ready. If the Republicans, and it looks like they will, lose part of their majority, possibly even lose the House, depending on how bad Mitt Romney's coattails look, there's a very good chance that John Boehner would be out as Speaker, especially if Republicans intend to double down on the obstruction in a second Obama term. With that, the only real influence, power, or ability to change anything that Tom Latham has is as BFF with John Boehner. Those two are legitimately close. That's pretty much all Tom Latham brings to the table. And again, I wouldn't shed a tear if Boswell were to lose and we come back in 2014, with a real Democrat who can take advantage of having Polk County in their district. So we can get a better congressman in there. And I won't cry if he wins, but I'm not a fan. So on Friday, long story short, he dropped suit on our own friend Ed Fallon for reasons I will get into after this. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. I'll be back right after this on webcast1live.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
This moment of silence brought to you by Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering, home of Des Moines' premier rooftop dining experience. Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant, Bar, and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
With warm weather finally here, it's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
Community CPA is the 15th largest CPA firm in Iowa, providing audit, tax, and accounting services. Community CPA specializes in international tax treaty and double taxation avoidance among countries and states. 9 dedicated, experienced, hardworking staff are the company's foundation, and their compassion towards every client is the secret behind Community CPA's success. At Community CPA, you can expect quality service year-round. Call 288-3188. Community CPA, 3816 Ingersoll. Experience the difference.
The dawn of a new era begins.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
Rock concert movement. Number
All right,
one.
things should be working a little better now.
The basic
Hopefully.
head
Let me know
bob.
when that live stream is up and going. The Ustream works and the Mixler works, so for those of you who are just joining us, welcome. I don't think anyone caught the first 10 minutes. These things happen. All right, email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw for all of your fun and frivolity needs. All right, so before the break, we were telling you about Leonard Boswell dropping a lawsuit on Ed Fallon, and I'll take a step back from the merits of said lawsuit. I can tell you this. It is certainly not unknown. And again, this has nothing to do with any party or level of election. It is not unknown for, and usually the way it works is, no one with an official tie to the campaign ever comes up and says, hey, if you feel like dropping out, I think there'll be some glorious opportunities for you. It's usually, friend of a friend type business. If I'm a senior advisor to the Romney campaign, I will talk to one of my consultant friends who will reach out to say human excrement in sweater vest form. And let it be known that good things will come their way if they decide to drop out. Now, and sometimes this happens, on the national level where a party will come and say, we don't want you to run. On a state level, it's a little different. And these things, again, happen all the time. To avoid, parties don't like primaries. I am a fan, again, as long as you keep it clean. This isn't a case like in Florida where fake Democrats run or anything like that. I'm saying if you truly believe that a congressman or a senator needs to be pushed in any certain direction, a vigorous primary is a good way of doing that. In some cases, to get a better candidate in there. Others to force a candidate to deal with some maybe deficiencies with the base. I'm not a fan of nominating a Christine O'Donnell or a Richard Murdoch or a Sharon Engel, these hapless, hopeless candidates. I'm not saying that. I don't think what the Tea Party in their bit of fever dream is doing is a good thing for the country or even for I believe in primaries. Parties hate them for obvious reasons. One, it's a use of resources. Two, anything you can say about a candidate can be used against them. But just to take a step back, offering no value judgments as to the merits of the Boswell-Fallon race. Why would you highlight this? Let's say I believe the polling, and I have no reason necessarily not to, that this is a neck and neck between Boswell and Latham. Latham certainly has the money advantage, has the outside group advantage. Why would you want to highlight these charges? Even if they are absolutely, positively, 100% false, why would you go and extend the story? For those of you playing catch-up, last week in his weekly newsletter, good friend Ed Fallon discussed a number of reasons why he does not support Leonard Boswell. Among those reasons were when he attempted to primary Leonard Boswell. One, Boswell said that he was a friend of pedophiles, that whole 2,000-foot law thing, which is a mess all into itself. But in addition, claims that someone from the Boswell campaign offered Ed Fallon an $80,000 a year job not to primary Leonard Boswell. And again, not unheard of or unprecedented maneuver in a campaign. But even if it was 100% verifiably false, why would you, again, stir up the mud as soon as, it was settling? It was in a newsletter. He did, a piece at 6:30 on We Hate Others radio, and it was dead, done, moved on, forgotten, didn't make a ripple, didn't make, the headlines until Friday when it shows up, on KCCI's side, on the Register, which, of course, then begs a response on Monday with the Fallon, press release, and there'll be a press conference, I'm assuming. Like, why would you give this story another week of legs? And depending on how your opposition wants to play this is a story that could, breathe oxygen for a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks you don't have. You already have a hard enough time matching the airtime of your opponent and his various, shadow groups. Why would you bring this up again? That's the part that doesn't make any sense to me. When I heard about this lawsuit, I mean, it's just facepalm. Again, ignore the fact that Ed and I are friends, and I'm not a huge fan of Leonard Boswell. And for a guy so brave, how he could vote the way it just doesn't make any sense. Just, take from a strategy move, take the red, the blue, the D, and the R off it. Why would you do this? So we'll see what happens with this lawsuit moving forward. I'm guessing it's going to have far more legs than the Boswell camp would like. And I don't know why they would push it. There is no upside other than Leonard angry, Leonard smash. That is the only rationale I can think of. A little more than a month out from the toughest re-election fight he's ever had, where he's not favored. Why would you do? Don't make no sense. All right. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw. Or just go to the website, www.thebradshawshow.com. I was wondering when one of these would show up, and over the weekend, my questions were all answered. The Iowa poll, this is the Register's poll. 650 likely voters. I'm not sure what... again, getting full results from the Register poll is mind-melting just because they dole it out in little snippets. And I understand they want web hits and they want, to sell newspapers, but give me the info for a junkie like myself. Top line is, of course, 49-44, excuse me. Obama in the state of Iowa. And certainly that fits with the other polls. We've been seeing 87% of likely voters say their mind is made up. So there's not a whole lot of wiggle room there. But when you break it down, which candidate will do the best job? Obama wins on, the economy, Medicare by 8 points. And that's not exactly a little issue here in the graying state of Iowa. Health care, tax policy, handling of the Middle East. Obama with leads in all of those. Cares more about people like you. Is more honest by 11 points. One thing I found interesting, would be more likely to bring Republicans and Democrats together. Neither candidate breaks 40% in that one. I think people understand that partisanship is here to stay. Which candidate does a better job of caring about their concerns? Obama wins women, veterans, middle class, minorities, retirees. The only place he loses is business. One question I found interesting. As Mitt Romney's running mate, do you think Paul Ryan is an asset or a liability? Among likely, 56% say an asset. 36% say liability. And this one, that sets off my low information voter alert. In the absence of the weather beacon, perhaps I could use it for other terms. But that Paul Ryan is an overall asset. Now, again, this is something you hear on talk radio and Fox News, but the evidence doesn't seem to back it up. The New Republic, Noam Scheiber, did a piece, I think on Thursday or Friday, about how the 47% video was certainly a gut shot for Romney, but what truly has been a systemic poison is Paul Ryan. Looking back at what the numbers look like when Ryan was nominated. Now, certainly things overall haven't gone well for Romney since the vice presidential announcement. Back in late August, Obama led Romney in a question of who would handle Medicare by 8 points in Florida, 10 points in Ohio. Now it's 15 and 16. He's running up the score on Medicare and Medicaid, and you certainly think the Paul Ryan budget didn't have something to do with that? 1 month ago, Obama was down 13 points in Florida among seniors. Today, he's up 4. When you specifically ask about Medicare, Obama was down 4 points a month ago. It's up 5 today. Same thing in Ohio. In August, Obama was down 8. Today's up 1. Paul Ryan is a problem. I talked about the danger of buying your own press releases. If you believe your own spin, it's very hard to make real, rational decisions. And in this case, well, Paul Ryan is a policy wonk, mathematical tax genius. That's the image of him that you portray to the proles, to the plebes, to the common man. You put him on Fox News for some softball interviews, and he's a handy prop. You're a little more exposed running for the vice presidency. This is a problem. Even on Fox News. This weekend sits down with Chris Wallace. And we have can we bring up the Paul Ryan clip? This is Paul Ryan being asked about the Romney tax plan. On Fox News, the friendliest of territories. All right, there's Hilton Magic, down here, the Fox News home field advantage, where even Sarah Palin can sound well-read. As well she should, a woman who reads every magazine and every newspaper, but I digress. This is
the master of the
Paul
budget.
Ryan.
So briefly, let's go through the plan. The Obama camp says, independent groups say, if you cut those tax rates for everybody 20%, it costs $5 trillion over 10 years. True?
Not in the least bit true. Look, this just goes to show if you torture statistics enough, they'll confess to what you want them to confess to. That study has been so thoroughly discredited. It wasn't even a measurement of Mitt Romney, his policy. Here's what we're saying.
Well, how much would it cost?
It's revenue neutral. It doesn't cost
I'm
$5
just
trillion.
talking about the cut. We'll get to the deductions, but the cut in tax rates.
The cut in tax rates is lower all Americans' tax rates by 20%.
How much does that cost?
It's revenue neutral.
Well, it's not revenue neutral unless you take away the deductions.
That's where
I know, but I'm asking
going.
you, and we're going to get to that in a second. The first half, lowering the tax rates. How much does that cost? $5 trillion?
No. Look, I won't get into a baseline argument with you because that's what a lot of this is about. We're saying limited deductions so you can lower tax rates for everybody. Start with people at the higher end. Here's the way it works. I've been on the Ways and Means Committee for 12 years. Both parties, Republicans and Democrats, have junked up the tax code with so many giveaways and special interest tax breaks. What we're saying is you keep your money in your pocketbook, in your business, in your family in the first place. The way it works today is you send more of your money to Washington, and then if you do what Washington approves of, you can have some of it back. We're saying keep it in the first place. And every time we've done this, whether it was Ronald Reagan working with Tip O'Neill, the ideas from the Bowles-Simpson Commission on how to do this, there's been a traditional Democrat and Republican consensus. Lowering tax rates by broadening the tax base works. And you can.
But I have to
let me just
you haven't given me the math.
No, but I don't have it would take me too long to go through all of the math. But let me say it this way. You can lower tax rates by 20% across the board by closing loopholes and still have preferences for the middle class for things like charitable deductions, for home purchases, for health care. So what we're saying is people are going to get lower tax rates, and therefore they will not send as much money to Washington, and they'll keep it and decide for themselves.
All right.
When we've done this, we've created economic growth.
I know Mitt Romney wasn't your first choice, nor was he mine.
We'll get to the fever dream there in a bit. I like that. it would take too long to explain the maths in the Paul Ryan Mitt Romney plan. If only they had like a 24/7 network that was committed to Republican interests, they could describe these sorts of things. Oh, where could Fox News find one of those? Truth is, this is just simple trickle down. Again, pick the analysis you want. When Chris Wallace on Fox News can even, this smells like bovine excrement. Forget the books being cooked, the goose is. Mitt Romney's tax plan cuts every tax rate by 20%. And through, I assume, the use of magic beans, sacred incantations, and perhaps human sacrifice, it magically becomes revenue neutral through closing of deductions. Deductions that for some reason you and I, maybe they just don't have time to, or we're not entitled to know. The devil is in the details. Now, again, which is more likely to happen? I ask you. After winning glorious election, Willard Mitt Romney puts on his nicest white shirt and rides his bicycle to inauguration, stands up and says, okay, here's the list of tax breaks I want to get rid of. We'll get rid of the college tuition tax rate, mortgage interest deduction, along with a couple, Swiss bank account exemptions and some business ones. Taking heat from all of those groups, such as, homeowners, people with children, college students, the parents of college students. Or we cut rates 20% across the board, and we'll get to getting rid of some of those deductions later on. See that can? Kick it down the street for me, will you? It is trickle down / starve the beast in its most purest form. That is almost as good. I believe it was the last time Paul Ryan did the Fox Sunday shows, where he said that he hadn't run the numbers on the Romney budget and any effect it may have on the deficit. Asterisk, any lowering will be based on just pure accident, much like every other time Republicans have held power. But that's neither here nor there. Point when I see that Paul Ryan is seen as an asset, and I'd love to see the partisan breakdown on that, but they won't give it to me. That vice presidential debate is going to be a lot of fun. Again, I'm not a huge believer that debates make a big, they don't cause big movement. They are certainly entertaining. Lord knows we love our spectator sports in this country. And for nerds, they're great to watch. Occasionally, a line kind of breaks through the debate stratosphere, and there you go again. Or, you're no Jack Kennedy. Makes it out into the rest of the world most of the time. Like, can anyone really remember, the great lines of the '08 debates? I'm a big fan of McCain's air quotes. Health of the mother. That I don't think helped his cause all that much. But for the most part, the thought that we're going to have a Josiah Bartlett, Richie debate beat down that settles the issue is what I am looking forward to. And again, I don't like to play the debate expectations game. This is, part of politics. You want to lower expectations for your guy, raise him for the other. All of a sudden, the other guy becomes the master of the zinger and the master of the... It's such a powerful inclination that at least for the next month or so, Republicans are going to stop believing that they ever said Barack Obama was a teleprompter-addled, empty suit who's incapable of speaking without the words in front of him. That's how strong the expectations game is when it comes to debates. I will admit I'm looking forward to the vice presidential debate. And those make even less news than the presidential one, but again, Biden's been at this a while. And, well, you saw how Paul Ryan couldn't even handle Chris Wallace on the friendliest of territories. I am expecting, it isn't just hope for, I am expecting Paul Ryan to be pantsed for the know-nothing, empty suit that he is. And having read his stuff and seen videos of him before he was a national figure, whether he's speaking at the Ayn Rand convention, calling Social Security and Medicare, collectivist, back to having to sort of repudiate, as they say, Ayn Rand later on, when kind of her, the FYIGM mentality, that works really well out of her books. The mocking of the religious, that tends to go over pretty poorly in religious circles. So again, one of those things before he was famous and after. Again, I don't see it. I'm in Camp Krugman on this one. He's not a wonk. He's not a very serious person, as they say. He is a spokesperson. He is a good-looking poster child. But that's about it. And I am looking forward to him, again, these sorts of races tend to wear one's public image down. With that much scrutiny, that many cameras, that many microphones on every utterance, every, appearance. Every time you duck your head out of a door, there is someone there with a camera, a microphone, a notepad. You are exposed. At least the good news is this is a very good chance of completely neutering any future ambitions Congressman Paul Ryan may have. Losing VP candidates don't usually go on. I think you have to go back to FDR. To find a losing VP candidate who went on to the White House. And again, he's cut off mid-incubation, and I'm okay with that. Before he could actually do some damage. I don't think we're going to see Paul Ryan in 2016. Darn. Even if he removes, as Craig Robinson of the Iowa Republican called it, the Romney stench off him. All right, 244-0077. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, and follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/radiobradshaw, or just go to thebradshawshow.com for almost. I don't do windows, no lawn work. I'm running for office, for Pete's sake. But go to thebradshawshow.com. It's got all of that information there, and kind of a one-stop shop for everything you need. Thebradshawshow.com. Back right after this on Webcast 1 Live. Thanks for watching.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast 1 Live.
This moment of silence brought to you by Tally's Restaurant Bar and Catering, home of Des Moines' premier rooftop dining experience. Located in the heart of Beaverdale, Tally's offers speedy and affordable rooftop lunch, catering for events both large and small, innovative cuisine, as well as vegetarian and gluten-free menus. Come to Tally's for live music, dry-aged steaks, Sunday brunch, and all-you-can-eat ribs every Monday night. Tally's Restaurant, Bar, and Catering at 2712 Beaver Avenue. Call 279-2067. That's 279-2067.
With warm weather finally here, it's time to think about upgrading the efficiency of your furnace and air conditioner. Leonard Tinker Heating and Cooling has provided honest, competent service for over 20 years. Whether it's your home or business, for repair work or to install a more energy-efficient furnace or air conditioner, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422. That's 263-0422. For honest, competent heating and cooling service, call Leonard Tinker at 263-0422.
Community CPA is the 15th largest CPA firm in Iowa, providing audit, tax, and accounting services. Community CPA specializes in international tax treaty and double taxation avoidance among countries and states. 9 dedicated, experienced, hardworking staff are the company's foundation, and their compassion towards every client is the secret behind Community CPA's success. At Community CPA, you can expect quality service year-round. Call 288-3188. Community CPA, 3816 Ingersoll. Experience the difference.
The dawn of a new era begins.
Feeling alone? God knows and He understands. Chat now with someone who cares at groundwire.net.
Well, hi, I'm Rob Spearman. I'm a broker-owner of RE/MAX Real Estate Concepts in Des Moines, Iowa. Give us a call if you're looking at buying or selling a home, or if you're having trouble on your mortgage payments or looking to purchase foreclosures. We have the agents to help you, experienced, outstanding agents. Our office number is 515-276-2872. Or if you'd like to look at homes, go to our website, homeconnectusa.com.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
It's time to start.
It's Monday.
Rock concert movement
Bradshaw with you here. 214.
The basic head bob. Ready, go.
Here in the glorious People's Republic of the Bradshaw Show. Go to thebradshawshow.com. You can find my Twitter, email, all of that stuff is in there. Because I am an absolute feedback junkie. So whatever you got, give it to me, please. Don't forward me emails. That's all. Yeah, there is a special place in hell for people who talk in movie theaters and people who forward emails. Good news. Rasmussen is pretty much the last holdout. At least in the talk radio, Fox Nation, Fever Dream bubble. Everything will be okay. I mean, it's gotten to the point where literally Republicans make up their own polls with the unskewed polls. And magically, everywhere Romney's winning by 10. Rasmussen today. Obama leads 50-47. So that'll be the last of legitimate polling you hear on talk radio for a while. And they used to mention, the Zogby, Gallup, Rasmussen. They stopped mentioning Gallup last week when it showed Obama by 6. Now with Obama in the lead on Rasmussen, who traditionally leans a point or two Republican. That will pretty much be the end. It'll be all unskewed polling all the time. And again, I got to admit, once I stopped listening to right-wing radio as a fact checker, or with kind of those mental defenses, like that's not right, or you're leaving out a key bit here. It became a lot more interesting. In fact, it is downright fascinating these days, watching these guys kind of work through the 5 stages of grief. Denial and anger are always interesting. The bargaining will be fun. And I don't know if they'll ever get to acceptance, except in the fact of blaming it all on Mitt Romney not being a true conservative. Because remember, conservatism never fails to these folks. Only we fallen mortals can fail conservatism. And you can look at bad Senate candidates, and we will. You can look at a horribly run campaign that is an absolute slave to the base. And every time they've tried to kind of float that trial balloon, well, what if we kind of embrace Romney care again? Let's run that trial balloon. The circular firing squad is there. One could argue that perhaps the bubble living, fever dream, suffering, luckily dying off Republican base is to blame. But for them to do that would require personal responsibility. That is never going to happen. So, again, how the right reacts to not retaking the Senate, not retaking the White House, and possibly even losing the House of Representatives. Not likely, but is not outside the realm of possibility. Is going to be fun to watch. And again, I think we talked about this on the very first show I did here. Republicans were never confident about winning the White House in 2012. I would argue it is not a priority. The fear that looks to be coming true is that Mitt Romney's coattails are spreading dysentery. Typhoid mittens? I don't know. Someone think of a more clever nickname and send it to me on Twitter. This is from the folks at Talking Points memo today, looking at how in these, not all swing states, some states were clear blue to begin with, but as Obama expands his lead, or as states like Wisconsin go from swing state to solid blue, the effect that's having on Senate races. Big one in Massachusetts is Elizabeth Warren, who, and when you ask Republicans, and they actually poll these sorts of things, if you can't beat Obama, who's next on the, wish list? It is Elizabeth Warren. I think it's fair to say she's no blue dog and does a very good job, even better than President Obama, of explaining that, we are in this together. She has actually taken the lead as Barack Obama has solidified his lead nationwide, expanded his lead in Massachusetts. Lo and behold, Elizabeth Warren is in for the ride. Something that caught my eye, and I don't remember who did it, a couple weeks ago, went through and found the various press clippings of, the various serious pundits and a couple of blue dog Democrats about Elizabeth Warren being given a primetime speaking slot at the Democratic National Convention. And the typical pearl clutchers and couch fainters, they all agree what a horrible idea it was to put this divisive liberal on the national stage and how it can only harm the president, it can only harm the Democrats, and can't believe they're so dumb to do this. And it turns out it worked quite well. Scott Brown has spent most of the year leading. Sometimes only by 2 or 3 points, but with a consistent lead that is now gone. As of Friday, Elizabeth Warren has a 2.5-point lead on Scott Brown. In Wisconsin, remember, the Republicans were all doing cartwheels when Governor Walker survived recall. And again, this is what happens again when you buy the narrative and ignore the evidence. For me, the biggest takeaway of the recall was that a majority of voters didn't feel a recall was legitimate under any circumstance. You might think possibly that influenced their vote. But if you're having a rough year, and things haven't exactly gone your way electorally, I understand. I lived through 2004. I know what it's like to scrounge for every bit of good news you can find. Fox was ready to reinflate those palm trees in Wisconsin and have a good old time claiming that, it's a battleground state and Republicans are going to win and it's going to be fine. Don't even have to worry about it, except now polls are showing a double-digit lead in Wisconsin for Obama. And with that, Tommy Thompson, and he was supposed to be a good get to run for the Senate. He was the high profile. He was the candidate state Republicans wanted. Yeah, he's got a little bit of the Bush tarnish to him, but hey, who doesn't these days? And has gone from a toss-up in that race to now losing Representative Tammy Baldwin. And it certainly doesn't help that, last week Tommy Thompson, a little video of him showed up talking about getting rid of Medicare and Medicaid, which, again, go back 6 months, was Republican orthodoxy. Again, that was seen as a must-have win, and that was seen as a clear opportunity for Republicans to take back the Senate. And forget, the Todd Akins. Again, if he was a legitimate candidate, the Republican, senatorial committee would have a way to shut that whole thing down. Or even the Richard Murdoch, who is losing to, and he's kind of milquetoast, I understand. I used to live in his district. Joe Donnelly, the guy that bumped off Dick Lugar, is now losing in Indiana. In Virginia, Tim Kaine, George Allen. Remember Macaca guy? Yeah, that's George Allen. He's back. And, lo and behold, as Obama gains a lead in Virginia, Tim Kaine's along for the ride. Same thing in Florida with Bill Nelson. Same thing in Ohio with Sherrod Brown. All across the country, Barack Obama's showing coattails. I would argue that perhaps that's the only thing keeping Leonard Boswell alive electorally. When you see Democrats in the state of Iowa, for example, with a rather large enthusiasm edge, well, that's going to lift all blue boats. So, and this is a Republican Party in disarray. And again, I don't think anyone expected this sort of perfect storm. Again, Tea Party candidates doing what they do best, flailing. I don't think anyone expected Barack Obama to get this sort of lead. Again, the basics of our economy are against him. Unemployment is high. The economy, for those of us outside of the 1-2%, is flailing. It's not, happy days are here again yet. And maybe, again, this is a messaging failure. Maybe this is just a bad candidate and a bad campaign. But voters don't believe that, A, Obama's to blame for the economy. And this is was Ezra Klein in the Washington Post. And you ask, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? 31-34. Yes, no. Most people are just kind of the same. But when you ask, do you blame President Obama for this? Not many do. Are you better off because Obama won 4 years ago? More people than not say yes. And this is kind of the fundamental fact Republicans can't wrap their head around. I don't know whether it's buying your own press clippings, believing your own BS, or maybe they just watch too much of the Glenn Beck Show. Who knows? But it's starting to show, and things are getting a little desperate. I'm not kidding. In Virginia, Romney is campaigning on Lyme disease synergy. He's sending out mailers. Lyme disease, a massive epidemic threatening Virginia. Romney and Ryan will do more than fight the spread of Lyme disease. As barn burners go, I don't know if that's going to be enough to push things. I'm not kidding. Can we bring up the picture of that mailer? This is a mailer that is going out to Virginia. When I first saw it, I thought it was a Photoshop joke. I thought someone was having a little fun at the expense of the Romney campaign. But yes, improving Lyme disease synergy is what the Romney campaign is running on. They've run out of bullets. They don't even have guns to throw at this point. They're throwing rocks and mud. All right. Do you have the Street Fighter video? The one I... completely unrelated. I just want to end on a high note. We had some technical difficulties earlier today. It's a Monday. A little fun and frivolity. I think the folks at Slate put this one together. And if you ever went to a video arcade, this will look very familiar to you. And I posted the link on my Twitter. You can find it, twitter.com/Radio Bradshaw. This is how all political battles should be fought in the future. It's absolute genius. And I would, again, you want to get a 40 share on the presidential debates? Run them like this. So this is how we'll end up the day. Go to bradshawshow.com. Stop by, say hi. Email me, radiobradshaw@gmail.com, or stop by and see me on Twitter. I'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, enjoy this.
Political Combat 12. Elect your champion. Paul and Obama. Romney. Who will be the nominee?
Welcome to Obamaville.
Fight!
Clean coal! Clean coal! Clean coal!
Excellent.
Hey, brother. Welcome, brother. Sweater vest!
Oh, yeah. Yes.
999. 999.
I approve this message.
Sweater vest!
Excellent.
Hey, brother. Welcome, brother.
Finish him.
Oh, choice. No life.